So I just heard a big explosion. You can hear chainsaws. I heard an explosion and then the lights went out. A big boom. So as you can see, I can't open the gate because it's frozen shut, but I'm the only house in the neighborhood with lights. So yeah, I'm kind of a sitting duck here. Oh, there's another tree limb. Hear it break? Wow, caught that one. Yeah, it's starting to rain again, and they say we're going to have rain through the night, which is freezing rain, so it's going to be probably even worse tonight. So we probably won't have power tonight, so I got to finish work. And my backup systems are beeping at me. I got to finish work real quick so I don't tear into my batteries too much. I got 12.3 battery voltage in reserve, so I need to step it up a notch to get my work done. Turn this thing off. I'm gonna unplug some stuff that's not pulling on my batteries. So yeah, fun times.
The next day.
Own Air National Guard and shoot this thing down? I'm just asking that question. I don't know what state it's over right now, but let's pretend it's over Nebraska right now. I would think it would be popular politically in Nebraska.
Look at all of them. Look at those trees. Here.
My state of Tennessee or Alabama.
All right there.
Clearly
Right
red
there.
state. And to your point, Buck, there are
Right
lots
there.
of parts of any state that are more
Like right there.
There's not a great deal
Over here.
of industry. I agree. You don't necessarily want to shoot anything down over fall, and most of the time it doesn't hit something. Do you know that there was, according to the Smithsonian, I'm looking at the backstory here.
For some reason, we can't get through here. Don't understand why.
Killed 6 Americans,
The road's clear now.
5 children in Oregon. Attu Island, which is off the Aleutian Island chain of Alaska. The Japanese had a specific mission to
It's like
U.S. territory.
a bomb was set off almost.
For a short period, the Marines went in there and showed them, who was really going to hold that.
Even the cemetery
I'm just saying, imagine if you or I were
covered with broken trees
I'm just using Nebraska because it's center part of the country. We don't know what
all
state
throughout
it's
there.
gonna be over. It could be Oklahoma. It could be Missouri. All of these states have Republican government. It's unacceptable.
So yeah, it's just like this everywhere. Where you look, there's down trees. The roads have been cleared in most spots. People are piling them up. And been a lot of chainsaw action. Like that tree right there. And then just everywhere you look, there's broken tree limbs, down trees. And they got roads blocked off. Like, look at this. They're already cleaning this up. But yeah, if I'd have been out here earlier, yesterday, that's the city hall. They still have to clear that road right there. That's where you pay your water bill. But there's not a tree that wasn't broken or untouched. And just everywhere I point the camera, look at that tree. They're working on it right now. That's one of the biggest Paulownia trees around here, and look at it. It took a big hit. So yeah, every tree looks like that almost. Just split. Look at those big trees back there. They're all destroyed. Yeah, this is never happened like this bad in my lifetime. Look at all these trees just broken over. Look at them. The top snapped off. Now that's not normal. It looks like they got it bridged from the top to the bottom. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but that is definitely, I haven't seen that before. I'm gonna have to research what that's all about. But that is not normal. I still don't know why our power's out. I've gone down and looked at all the power lines, and I don't see why we don't have power in this part of Elgin. But look at all this. Everything is just like this. And on Main Street, look at all those down trees. Look at that. Look at that one. Look at all this. Just everywhere you look. That's a big tree that broke over. So look, there's been a lot of cleanup already. It looked a lot worse than this. Look at this old pine tree. You can smell the pine, but look at all the limbs broken. At least it didn't break the roof. Yeah, look at this tree. Snapped off at the top. Just everywhere. There's not a tree that wasn't untouched from this, seems like. Unless it was really small. Look at all those trees. Just all broken over. It's been a lot of work already. But like I said, I don't see any problems with the lines right here. Why do we not have power? Look at all those. There's been a lot of cleanup because when I got gas the other night on Wednesday, it was hard to drive down this road. There was just so much stuff everywhere. Look at those big trees. Now that one fell on their house, on their fence too. And then over here, look at all this. Nice oak tree, just completely destroyed. Pine tree. And there's people running around cleaning up right now. Look at all this. They're hauling stuff off in trailers. So it's going to be hard to find, look at that. It's going to be hard to find, if you're in the wood business, selling firewood, that's going to be a business that's not going to do so well next year. Look at that tree. Didn't fall on their house, but it got really close. So yeah, pulling in here, look at that tree. It's all broken. Gotta dodge this limb. So yeah, there's been a lot of cleanup already. You can see all the wood in the yards right there. Some people have just cut their trees off completely, said to hell with it. They're done. See that? Every tree, for the most part, has some type of damage. Like that. That. And that. So yep. And of course, you know, I looked at my trees, my pecan trees, and they don't look good at all. A lot of them are just like that, major damage. So not too excited about that. I'll do a video about it later, but I just don't want to go out there and look at it right now. So I got gas for the generator. The clouds moved back in. Fun times. All right, so we're going on day 3 with no power, and I don't have any hot water, so we're going to fix that so we can have our water heater running off the 110 power, even though it's a 220 water heater, and I'll show you what I've done. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug this in, and we're going to see how many sparks we can create here. We're going to see how many watts we're going to pull. Right here, we got 118 volts coming in. So if everything goes right, we won't see any sparks. And I'm predicting we'll pull about 700 watts. Right now we're pulling 500 and 546. So I was off a little bit on my calculation, which I'm not good at math. But right now our water temperature for the water heater is 70 degrees. It was 69 earlier, so I know it hadn't heated up that quick. So yeah, there's 69.9. So anyway, we're starting off at about 70 degrees. And what time is it? Let's figure out what time it is real quick here. It is, because we're going to see how long it takes to get up to temperature. It is it's 1:43. All right. So let me show you how I did this real quick. So instead of being hooked up to the grid like a normal water heater would be, I put a cutoff switch on it years ago. Let me add some more light to this so you can see. So there's my cutoff switch. I have that turned off. At this point, it doesn't matter because I've disconnected the elements, the upper and the lower element. So they're completely isolated. I need to watch out and not touch that. And what I did is I seriesed the heating elements together. So the neutral side is going to the top element. The load side coming from the generator is going to the bottom element. And then I series the other side of the element with a wire on the top and another wire on the bottom, and then I got a wire nut here in the middle. So if I were to undo this wire nut and pull the wires apart, the circuit would be broken. And that's how it's working. So I got the cables going in here into the and there's my ground. Does this pass code? I just wrapped it around that clamp and it's ground. It's good enough. This is all temporary. I'm going to set up some kind of permanent solution maybe, so I don't have to unhook. So if the grid power comes back on today, which I know it won't, but if it did, I would have to unhook this and then hook the elements back up. It's at the most a 5-minute job, and that's if I'm taking my time. So I have to look for a wrench or a screwdriver. So far, we're going to be heating water at a very low rate at 500 watts. But here's why I did this. So now what I can do is I can be heating water throughout the day now while I'm running other stuff. Instead of putting the generator under a big load and not be able to run my other electronics, I can share the load with the water heater, and that will work a lot better. So we'll see how long it takes to get the water warm. It's already going up a little bit. Those elements are 3,500 watt elements at 220 is what they're rated at, and I'm cutting that in half because I'm seriesing the elements, so that would be 1,700. And then because I'm only coming in with about 118 volts, that also cuts it in half. So that's about, so my math, it should have been about 600 volts. I mean watts would have been the perfect math. So we're close to that. We're 450 watts. Because remember, those elements are 220 elements. Now I could have replaced those elements with 110 elements permanently, but then I couldn't use it on the grid like I am. So there's my solution to heat water. And I started it at 143. So we'll see how long it takes, and it should get up to 150 degrees. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that, but we'll see. But it's working so far. It's just going to take a while. It's been about an hour and 10 minutes. Let's see what we got. We started off at 69 degrees, 70, and we're up to 80. So we're going about 10 degrees every hour. So you can see it clicking up right there. That's exactly what I wanted. So right now I got the whole house hooked up for the most part. I could run the home theater. I'm running the lights in the kitchen. Both deep freezes are turned on, so they're pulling power, and the refrigerator just kicked on. So we're pulling 900 watts to run everything. So we got deep freeze, lights, and studio for the house, outside lights as well as inside lights. This is the water heater element thing that I rigged up, and this one is the refrigerator that's in the kitchen. And when I turn on the home theater and stuff in the living room, that'll probably pull it up another 200 or 300 watts. So we'll be hovering around a maximum of maybe 1,300 watts on a 5,500 watt generator. But my weak link here is my extension cord. I think it's a 10 gauge. I can't remember. But so far we're doing good, and I'm finally cooking something for the day. So I'm making some eggs with some grass-fed beef and butter on top. And I'll put that on a bed of grass-fed cheese with Bragg nutritional yeast. And that's what I'm going to eat for today. I'm not going to have my pecan stuff because I'm out and just don't have time to make that. So there we go. There's an update, and I will give you an update soon on the temperature. I want it to get up to 150 degrees, and we'll see how long that takes. All right, we're going to use the generator power with this electric chainsaw. The grid is still down, so we're going to use a little generator power right now. And I'll just find more wood about that size and do the same thing over and over again. That's how I cut wood. And like I said, it usually goes quicker, but I have a camera on my chest, so I was having to look at everything through the camera.
Able to run out there and do that. If you're confident doing the work yourself, okay, but if you're not, or you don't have the tools or the ability, some of us are going to be waiting for arborists to be able to get to you. And be careful.
So they got a tree guy that does the gardening show on the weekends, talking about how to cut trees and stuff because things are just so bad. We're going to give our moringa a little bit of a nutrient ash fertilizer. So I'm getting the wood stove ready. The water heater setup's working good. I harvested wood. Check this out. So I just cut and broke and harvested the wood. I break the stuff if it's small. If it's bigger, I'll have to cut it. I did all that. And the bigger stuff here, got some kindling there. And then the neighbors, when I was out back, I guess, brought over a bag of, looks like some type of oak or something, and a couple of these logs. I had the bigger one. So I'm set for wood for a little bit too. So that's pretty cool. I guess because I offered them power yesterday. Maybe they were going to do it anyway, but I said I can run a cord over there from the generator. But I'm almost the only one left in the neighborhood. There's not too many people that are living in their homes anymore. The streets are bare. Everybody's moved in with their friends and families. Like, I'm pretty sure, yeah, they're gone. Everybody's just kind of, well, they're still there. So there's one person there, but not too many people in their homes. Because it's been 3 days with no power, and you got to bathe eventually, you know, and brush your teeth and eat something warm. So yeah, I'll give you a water heater update in a little bit. Got the wood stove loaded. That's ready to fire up. You know, once you work outside in the cold for about 4 hours and you come back in the house where it's just a little bit warmer, you don't want to start the wood stove. So I'm probably not going to start it tonight, and I got all this wood. And all this wood, so yep, that's all good. Here's a thing I'm glad I did about 6 months ago. So in the last ice storm, Snowmageddon, the exhaust fan went out. So I replaced it with a fan because you couldn't go anywhere. The streets were shut down. It was, you know, iced over, and all the businesses were closed. So I had this fan that I rigged up there. So I'm just leaving it there because it works. Got it at Walmart, and I had the fan. $14, and that's a speaker hanging there, so never mind that. But I knew that the power was going to go out in the next storm, which it did. It's been out for over 3 days now. So I found this old road sign, political sign on the side of the road that was thrown out of somebody's truck or something. Cut it in half, doubled it up for strength, and then took a 12-volt computer fan, a really high-end one, came out of something more than a computer. It's got a higher velocity to it. And I hooked that up to this 12-volt wall wart, and that's hooked up to this LED bulb here, and then that is controlled with this switch down here, and that comes off of my solar. So when I hit this little foot switch here, it turns on the light and the exhaust fan at the same time. So I've been using that for the last 3 days, and it's been a lifesaver, and that's hooked up to the battery bank on the back side of the house. So I'm glad I did that about 6 months ago. I've been preparing for this dark winter nonsense. And I think I've pretty much got everything to where I can survive. Just talked to the neighbors. They're leaving to go. So I'm watching everybody's homes at this point. And wow, why is that pulling 1,100 watts? I'm pulling about 1,000 watts. I guess all the deep freezers are running at the same time. That's what it is. You can't see it. But anyway, we'll get an update on the, we'll just do a quick update. I just did a little dishes and it brought the temperature down to 83. It was up to 97. So now we're down to 83 because I did some dishes. So it's going to take a while to go back up, but it's working. So there's the update so far. You know, I said I wasn't going to light the wood stove, but there's a big chill in there and it's about 60 degrees in here. So let's do this. That'll break the chill in the air. Plus I can heat up my spiced tea. So that's a bonus. We'll go ahead and put that on there so it can be heating. And we'll have some warm tea. I'm supposed to be on a panel this evening. I'm probably late, but I'm doing my best to make it. It's going to be a nice little fire. It is 9:27. Let's check the temperature of the water heater. It's been running on the generator. It is 105 degrees, and that's after I washed a few dishes. So when I washed a few dishes, it knocked it down about 10 degrees. So it should be at least 115 if I wouldn't have done that. So we're getting pretty close. That's a good shower temperature. Way better than 40 something degree water. And we're pulling about 1,200 watts for the whole house system here, running the 560 watts from the water heater elements, and all the rest of this is feeding everything else. So we're still holding steady, and I just filled up the generator. I did it live. I did it on the fly with it running, and I'd never recommend that. You have to be ultra careful, and I do it with a fan beside myself. So you don't want vapors collecting and all that. So we'll do another update here pretty soon. I'm going to unplug this when it reaches 150, which probably I'll be unplugging it before I go to bed because I don't think it's going to get up to 150 by then. But we'll see. I know it takes a long time to do it this way, but again, I don't want to be pulling a lot of power because I want to be able to use this as well. I'm going to use my inverter to heat water during the day, just like I'm using the generator. So I'm going to be converting my water heater to solar. That'll be kind of cool, won't it? It's day 4. I just took a long shower, and the water went from about 123 degrees down to 100. So I'm going to keep heating the water, and I'll give you an update and see how today goes. But still no power from the grid. Generator's running. I could turn the generator off right now because the sun's out for the first time in about 2 weeks. So I'm going to be running most of my stuff off of solar today except the water heater. And I might attempt to run it off the solar if the sun stays out. Because again, the way I rigged up this series elements, it's only pulling 560 watts. So I might have enough solar power to trickle charge or trickle heat the water heater. That way I can save gas, because it's costing me about $105 every 3 days to run that generator. So I'm looking at about 200 and something bucks, 220, if the power stays off for that much longer. And they're talking it could be 10 days or longer now, because there's just not enough materials, poles, linemen. There's just not enough resources and all the debris that they're having to move just to fix power lines. So there's the morning update, and we'll continue this throughout the day in this video. All right, Rusty Watt is hooked up to the water heater elements now. I got a modified sine wave inverter there. I still need to hook up this 200 watt panel. This is the first time I've seen an Encore truck in 4 days, and I'm happy to see you. I need to talk to this guy real quick. All right, so yeah, they don't know where the break is or what's wrong yet, but they're looking. So it's, like I said, the first time I've seen an Encore truck since this event happened. Got one there, down there, and the guy I just talked to. So I told him if he needs access to the back property, just let me know. But he says so far, it doesn't look like they have to go back there, so that's good. So we're holding steady. This is the old inverter. It's a modified sine wave. This cable goes straight into the house. It plugs into the heating element that I had plugged in earlier to the other power source, the generator. I really need to hook up this extra 200 watt panel because I'm really needing that extra 200 watts to pull this off the right way. Because right now my battery is at 12.6, and I think with that extra amp, that extra 10 amps, that would push me up to float voltage on this battery. Because right now I'm only getting 14.8 amps from this back array. Let's see what we're getting on the front array. Let's see here what we're doing. We're getting 7.49 amps. So yeah, that extra 2 amps would be nice. I want to tell this guy that if he needs access, yeah, I'm going to talk to the Encore guy, see if he needs to get on the property. Checking the mail here. Y'all need back there? Good. Yeah. But it's the problem's not back there, right? Yeah. The whole block's down. So it was a big explosion and it went out. I mean, it was a big one. I'm happy to see you. All right, so there we go. They're still looking. Hopefully they don't have to get on the back of the property because it is too wet. So yeah, if they would just stop that nonsense up in the sky. Look at that. They're heavy duty spraying today. Look at all that. They've sprayed all that in right there. And he just started spraying right there. They did some crisscross in there. Come on, stop it, please. Please, can we have a clear day for once? It's better than nothing. I'm gonna go talk to the neighbor. All right, talking to the neighbors, telling them if they ever need anything. But so Kate, he said that the neighbor down there heard the explosion behind her house. So they're hanging out down there for some reason, which doesn't make sense because the lines that feed our neighborhood are over here. So if the line broke down there, how could it have stopped all of us from having power unless it blew a master fuse somewhere? So, but yeah, there are some neighbors still left in the neighborhood. There's 1, 2, and he got a generator this morning. They have no generator. They're still here. So yeah, everybody's happy to see the linemen. The trucks are here. So let's hope they can get to it. I told them if they need to get on the back property to fix anything because there is a utility easement on my property. But then he said it's too wet back there for the big truck, which he's probably right. So that'll be a bummer if they can't fix it because it's too wet. So far, the update on Rusty Watt running the water heater. I'm shy about 10 amps right now with the current sun to get it done right. We're at 13 volts right now. We're getting about 15.3 amps. So yeah, it's gonna work, but it's just not gonna be in float voltage. So I'm going to unplug the water heater at this point, let the batteries get back up to float, and I might hook up that extra 200 watt solar panel. But yeah, that extra 200 watts will do it. This one back here to definitely charge the water, to heat the water off grid. So yeah, if you're wondering why I put 1,000 watts on Rusty Watt, because I knew one of these days I'd use it. And today is one of those days. So this is day 4, and I'm finally able to wash some dishes because of the fact that I got the water heater slowly warming back up with Rusty Watt. So as you can see, after 4 days, when you can't wash dishes, because the water is like 40 to 50 degrees, and all it does is it just moves the butter around or whatever you're washing. It doesn't clean anything, so the dishes start stacking up. Things start looking pretty disastrous. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wash this little pot here, and I'm going to make some spice herb tea with Rusty Watt. You know, the last time I made something with Rusty Watt, it was coffee, and I stopped drinking coffee just because of the caffeine. This time we're going to do herb tea, and I was doing it for demonstration purposes. This time I'm doing it because I need the power, because I need to keep the other parts of the house running. So I turned the generator off, and that way I'm running everything in the house now on solar. So that's pretty impressive at this point that I got all that working. So yeah, I'm pretty excited today. You know, of course you can see the linemen are here, and yes, they are men. I didn't see any women in the crew, but that's just what they've been calling them for years, linemen. So that's what they still are to me. So anyway, I'm pretty excited. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's get some sunshine on this. Just like that. So what I like to do is this action for a little bit to kind of mix it all up in there good. It's going to settle to the bottom anyway, but it does make a difference. Do a long pour there. And that final one there, we'll do a long pour. Get it all bubbly like that. Gives it a little bit of a head on it, not much. Let's taste this and see what we got. Kind of looks like almost like hot chocolate in a way. It doesn't really have a taste as much. No real yeah, it just kind of tastes has a little bit of cinnamon, just a hint of chocolate. Everything kind of blends in together when you add it together. It's kind of like a tonic, or I don't know what you would call it, but I like it. It seems to really hit the spot. And I don't drink coffee anymore, so this is kind of my substitute. And I think it's got some benefits to it with the sea salt and the cinnamon. Just made a fresh batch of pecan butter on solar power, and listening to Color Theory in the background. Loving it.